How do we understand and interpret the Bible? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about how to know that the part of the Bible you're reading, the message is something you can apply to your life, and it's for you and not for someone else? Well, theologians have defined what are the canons. Those are the unchangeable principles of textual interpretation. And here's what they say. Correct interpretation is based on the historic, the geographic, the scriptural context. You've always heard context is king, of everything. But when you combine that with the grammatical elements, that's the Greek or the Hebrew words and the tenses and everything, the positioning in the sentence, when you do that, you have proper interpretation. But there's one element we need to think about. The first rule of textual interpretation is, what did God mean when he spoke to the original recipients? See, you can do all kinds of historic, grammatical, and all kinds of geographic studies, but you mustn't get a message different than what God was saying in the first delivery of the message. That's the most important of all the principles of interpreting the Bible. So let's apply that as we jump back into Revelation 1. Now remember, here's the context of what God meant. God was looking at a group of people that were no longer, hardly any of them, eyewitnesses of his ministry. See, there were, other than John and a few others, there were few people alive in 90 AD that had actually been in Israel around the lifetime of Christ and saw all those things happen. So the second generation church, Jesus was looking at what they were doing with his revelation. Do you understand? Jesus knows how much of the scriptures you have and how much you've been taught and how much you've learned and what you're doing with it. And so Jesus, after the first generation, all the scriptures were written, deep into the second generation, Jesus actually visits and checks, unseen by the congregation, how they were doing.